Hey everybody, thanks for joining me once again. My name is Marie. I'm at a place to heal, and I'm on my third day of my juice fast, and let me tell you, it's been quite challenging the last 3 days. Usually after 72 hours the hunger goes away, but for the last 72 hours, whew, man, I have been really just craving something to eat. I've just been pumping juice. It's been raining here constantly. Just this slow, steady female drizzle, what I call female rain. A lot of people call it female rain because it's nice and it's slow and it just lasts forever. It's just like a slow drizzle, and all the plants get all the water that they need, and it's been wonderful. And it's also been great weather to contemplate thought. So I promised in one of my last videos that I was going to do a video for one of my followers by the name of Amy. She sent me an email and asked me to do a video for her, and anytime anyone sends me an email and asks me for a question and asks me to do a video, I'm going to comply. So I wanted to start off by reading you her email to me, and then that way you guys know where we're coming from. This video today is actually for the ladies, because it's on female raw foods and femininity. So let me start off by reading her email. It says, "Hi Marie, I wanted to post the following question on one of your videos, but I didn't find a relevant one. Or if you get a chance to answer it in a video, it probably would help more people than just myself. I have a question regarding women on raw foods. Women have naturally more fat in their bodies than men, and when a man has less than 10% fat, even when he gets older, he can still look attractive. Dan McDonald, for instance, Dan the man. For a woman on raw food who is over 35, it is absolutely horrible to end up looking skin and bone. I have managed to stay 100% raw easily this summer, but I am getting skinnier and skinnier. I am 40 years old. I do a lot of yoga, but honestly, I am struggling to keep weight on, and I have been watching my bone structure showing through my body more and more. I don't do well on a very high fruit diet because I burn it right away and I have to keep eating all day long, and that makes me bloated. I want to stop right here real quick and say that this is exactly what a high fruit diet is supposed to do. It is supposed to keep you eating all day long. It is supposed to burn off very quickly because fruit digests through your system very quickly, and it's meant to pull all those toxins out of your body. So it's doing exactly what the diet is supposed to do. Okay, so I do eat some fruit, and I eat lots of greens and vegetables. I also eat raw oils, soaked nuts, and seeds, and 2 avocados every day. My digestive system, excuse me, works very fast. I was wondering what is the healthiest approach to maintaining weight. I am not obsessed with raw foods. I know they are healthy and they can clean us out of our toxins, but I am not 25 years old anymore. Do you think boiled starches could help so I don't have to cook grains to start putting some weight back on? I also notice that the skin starts sagging when you lose a lot of fat. Any thoughts would help tremendously. Much love and have a good day, Amy." Okay, Amy. So, and anyone else who has this problem, one of the first things I want to say is, don't ever ask me a question unless you want an honest answer, because I'm going to give you the most honest answer out there. Because I think those of you who have been following me for a while know that I'm pretty straightforward. I don't believe in lying to people. I take the that straightforward approach to anything in life. And that's just who I am. So I know that there's a lot of you out there that are following me for the weight loss part of my journey, and I know you're just sitting there right now going, "Oh, poor woman, she can't hold on to her weight." But you know what? One of the things that makes us human is empathy and compassion. And she is not the first woman that has written to me with this concern. There's actually been two or three other women who have written to me about the same issue. And even though I cannot relate to what it feels like to try to hold on to weight because I'm trying to get rid of weight, I can understand the anguish, and I can understand, that desperation in needing to do that, especially as a female. And, I think we can all relate to that no matter what weight we are. And it's no different than the anguish I feel and the frustration that I feel in trying to get the weight off. So that's one of the things that really makes us human, is that compassion and that empathy to relate to someone else and, their struggles and what they're going through. And it kind of makes us one. So, so the first thing that I want to touch on this is diet. A lot of people say the raw diet is the way it has to be, the way it has to be, the way it has to be. If you have been diagnosed with cancer, lupus, irritable bowel syndrome, serious kidney issues, liver issues, anything like that, yes, I am not going to lie to you. Raw food is the only way to eat in order to reverse that within 6 months or less. You can get rid of most of the pain. Usually within the year, you've reversed your diagnosis of whatever it is that you have. Is it the right diet for everyone? I don't know. Because we as human beings, not only is empathy what makes us human and compassion what makes us human, but as humans, we have to evolve. We have to adapt. Excuse me. We have to grow and we have to change. If we don't adapt to something new, we end up dying. And this is what's kept us going for so long as a species. And, before I went into to the hospital 5 years ago, it was nothing for me to get up in the morning, and my day would start out with, I would have a nice big cup of coffee with tons of sugary creamer, and then on my way to work I would stop for a Krispy Kreme donuts. Those of you who know Krispy Kremes know it's nothing but sugar, and and then a nice Frappuccino or something like that from Starbucks. And then, when I got to work for lunch, I would throw something in the microwave real quick, or I would eat a hamburger with a side of fries. And then on the way home, I would drink a latte to get me more energy. Somewhere along the line, I would eat a candy bar to keep me going. And when I got home, I would eat some dead animal and a bunch of starch on the side, rice, potatoes, something. And do I eat like that now? Hell no, I don't eat like that now, because I have changed. I have evolved. I've had to. When I got out of the hospital, they told me, if you do not change the way you are eating, you are going to die. And I had to change. I had to. But when I got out of the hospital, I was living on, 4 ounces of wheatgrass a day and 2 enemas, because my stomach and my intestines had complete paralysis. I mean, they weren't functioning. I had to function for them. And do I do that now? No, I don't do that now. Why? Because my stomach has started moving. I'm eating healthier. So we cannot say that one diet is what is suitable for everyone, and one way of eating is the way that everyone is supposed to eat. It's your reality, and it's what you are eating. Because we have to evolve, we have to change. Right now, I'm not 100% raw, because I can do really well eating raw for a week or two, but, all of a sudden my body says, Marie, please feed me something warm. And my body knows better than I do. And I sit there and I ask my body, what would you like? Because there are some healthy, warm alternatives that you can have. You know, there's squash. You can take squash, you can put it in your oven, you know, in a little pan of water. After an hour, I mean, that is delicious. You drizzle a little bit of oil on it. Oh my God, there's nothing better than that. Sweet potatoes. I love my sweet potatoes. I would never give up my sweet potatoes, and I love dipping my sweet potatoes in raw dressings. You know, there's tons of them on the internet that you can do, and I love it. Especially if you take yellow pepper and mix it with macadamia nuts and make a dip out of that. Oh, I love my sweet potatoes in that. You know, there's quinoa. I have friends who are bodybuilders, and they eat quinoa about 3 times a week. I do something that's called a Buddha bowl when I want something warm, and I warm up my quinoa, and once I've had my quinoa all cooked, I chop up a bunch of tomatoes, and I put a bunch of chopped up avocados in there, and some chickpeas or garbanzo beans, whatever you want to call them, and then I drizzle some oil on there. Oh, that is heaven in a bowl. And you know, there's ways that you can alter your diet where you can still stay as close to raw as possible. You're not doing any damage to your body, and you can you know, you can eat healthy. And this is coming from someone who had, like I said, intestinal paralysis. I can take 2 tablespoons of something, put it in my mouth, and go, whoa, my body is not going to digest that. That is not good. So I still need things going through my digestive tract that because I'm still trying to heal my digestive tract, that are very easy and they flow through very good. And let me tell you, quinoa is one of those things because it's not actually a grain. So, you know, that's great. Sweet potatoes are awesome, and they're not as starchy as potatoes. So that's great. Like I said, one of my videos that I showed prior, you can actually do half and half. You know, you could do the raw on the bottom, and then, you know, you can saute some onions and whatever you want in some water and put it on top, and that's fine. That's also, you know, that's perfectly fine. You're not going to do any damage to your body. I think that as women, the media puts a lot of information into our head. For instance, right now, who is one of the biggest females right now on the face of the planet? Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian has breasts, she has hips, she has booty, she has the whole thing going on. And you know, a lot of the times we look at this and it's like, this is what we have to look like. And I want to tell you a quick story so that you can understand what is going on here. You know, years and years and years ago, when the magazine industry first came out and the modeling and the clothing designers started advertising their clothes in magazines, they used to use beautifully full women like Marilyn Monroe and Mae West to show off their clothes. The problem is that the magazines were selling like hotcakes, but the clothes were not selling off the racks. And, you know, all the men were buying the magazine because they were like, oh, I want to do that. And all the girls were going, oh, I want to be that. But nobody was looking at the clothes because they were admiring the breast. They were admiring the female frame. And what ended up happening is that they started noticing that if they got models that were skinnier, the clothes would sell a little better. And then all of a sudden in the 1970s, Twiggy came along. And if you don't know who Twiggy is, you can Google her. And she was like this. I mean, she was a beanpole. She had no breasts, she had no butt, she had no hips. She was, I mean, straight as can get. And the minute that they put her into clothes, the clothes started going off the charts. I mean, they started selling like crazy. The magazine sales started to plummet, but the clothes started going up. So all of a sudden, clothing designers went, whoa, this is what we need. Skinnier models, skinnier models, skinnier models, in order to sell the clothing. And people actually look at these magazines and go, well, this is what I need to look like. No, people, that is not what you need to look like. That is what the designers want the models to look like to make their money so that they can sell their clothing. Okay, that is not healthy for anyone. Okay, and it really upsets me to see this going on, and that the people don't understand that they don't care about your health. They only care about their bottom dollar. And if you notice, Kim Kardashian is on the cover of a lot of magazines. Why? Because that fullness is what sells magazines. Is she on the cover of modeling magazines, or does she model clothing? No, because that type of body does not sell clothes. So, you know, I want you to keep that in mind whenever, whenever you look in the mirror and you say, well, this is what I need to look like. No, that is not what you need to look like. That is what they want them to look like to make their money. Always think about that. Everybody's bottom dollar, because that's basically, you know, what everybody wants is that bottom dollar out there, you know. So, and they don't care about your health. They will give you whatever it takes. They will sell you whatever drugs it takes. They will tell you whatever they need to do to make their bottom dollar. So, you know, I mean, what is right? What is wrong? Who decides that? And you know what? It's all a matter of perception. It really is. There was once a lady who lived in this beautiful little house, and her sink overlooked a tree branch. And as she washed her dishes, every year she would have birds that would fly in for the summer, and they would build their nest, and they would lay their eggs in this nest. And while she did her dishes, she could watch the parents going out to get food for the babies, and she would watch the eggs hatch, and she would watch the babies grow and feather out, and she'd watch them feed their babies, and then she'd watch the babies grow up and fly away. But one year, the neighbors moved out, and the new neighbors that moved in owned a cat. And when the birds came in, they laid their eggs, and as the babies hatched and they were starting to get feathered out, the cat from next door jumped over the fence, climbed up the tree, and ate all the baby birds. She went running outside, and she just kept yelling at the cat, you know, you bad cat, just, oh, you horrible, horrible cat. I mean, the act was unthinkable to her. And the cat turned around and looked at her and said, oh, but they were such good birds. The cat couldn't understand what she was all upset about. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because it's all a matter of perception. She was raised to believe that killing anything was just wrong. The cat was raised to believe that this is how he was able to survive in life. This was natural to him. So they couldn't understand each other. So I have a lot of friends who are 85 pounds, 95 pounds. I have a friend, especially one friend, who if she gets up to 100 pounds, she feels like she is a blimp. She loves to see her bones, her collarbones come out. She loves that she can put her whole hand around her wrist. You know, she loves to see her cheekbones, and anytime she reaches over 100, she feels that she's just too fat to even go out and be seen in public. She does not feel feminine after she's over 100. I also have friends who are, you know, 350 pounds who feel very sexual in their own skin, very feminine in their own skin. I was always one of those people. I have been down to 145 when I competed in bodybuilding with very little fat on my body. And I have been up to 358 pounds, I believe was my highest. And never had a problem getting dates, never stopped me from going out, and never stopped me from dancing. It never stopped me from receiving flowers, because I always felt very comfortable in my own skin. And I think that is very important for women to love where they're at, no matter where they're at. Because some of the problem that women are having, it's a two-sided coin. I'm going to hit the first side first. The first side of the coin is that you have to at some point stop and look in the mirror and sit there and think if any of this has been imprinted in your head by society, by church, by parents, or by media. Because a lot of women, I think that when they stop, they realize that all these thoughts that they're having, oh, I'm too skinny, is because they've heard that somewhere. It's been put into their head. When I was very young, up to the time that I was in my 20s, I always felt that I was so obese. It wasn't even funny. And actually, I think I only weighed like 150 back then. And it was because as I was growing up, it was imprinted in my head that I shouldn't gain weight. I shouldn't gain weight. Women who were really heavy never got dates, and they never went out, and men didn't want that. And other women that I've known has been just the opposite. They've been told, you're too skinny, you're nothing but a beanpole. I had a wonderful friend who was constantly told that. You need to gain weight. You need to gain weight. And let me tell you, this was a very sad story because she was being molested as a child, and her molester wanted her to fill out, and kept telling her that you're skin and bones, you need to gain some weight, you need to gain some weight. And after he was prosecuted and arrested and everything, she came to me with this, and she just told me, she says, I feel like I don't belong because I'm so thin that nobody's going to want me, because he kept telling me that he didn't want me because, and it's the things that get into our head, the things that get put into your brain as a child. So that's one of the things that you definitely need to acknowledge and address, and see if any of those insecurities that you're having, I'm too thin, I see my bones showing, whatever, is not coming from somewhere in your past where somebody put this into your brain. And like I said, whether it's society that did it, the media, television, your parents, because it was put into their head, church. I worked with a lady who, and I kid you not when I tell you this, beautiful woman. She could have been a model at any given moment. She could have been a model. She was gorgeous, tan skin, blonde hair. I mean, beautiful, perfect body, not an ounce of fat on her body. Every morning, she would start throwing up right after breakfast. I would be at work and I could hear her in the bathroom. We worked together and I could hear her throwing up in the bathroom. She would work out 3 hours at the gym, and after her 3 hours at the gym, she would go to McDonald's, she would gorge on McDonald's, and then she would take laxatives. This woman was having colonoscopies done every year because her digestive system was so messed up, and she finally thought she had throat cancer, of course, because the acid was eroding all her throat from all the throwing up. Why? Because she always felt like she was fat. She was gorgeous, but she always felt like she was fat. Why did she always feel like she was fat? Because her mother used to harp on her. Her mom used to come into our work and used to harp on her like crazy. Have you gained weight since the last time I seen you? Girl, I think you're carrying a few extra pounds. I was like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. But why did the mother do that? Because the mother's father was constantly harping on her about her weight. So, it gets passed from generation to generation to generation. So one of the things I ask is, please, ladies, stop and check on these thoughts and make sure that these thoughts are not what is causing this, and start seeing yourself in real time, in reality. Start loving your body. I mean, when you walk down the street, do you walk all hunched over because you don't want anybody to see your breasts? Do you pull your shirts down because you don't want anybody to see your butt? Be thankful for what God gave you. You need to embrace your femininity. I see women all over the place and they do not embrace their feminine side. And then, ladies, you guys are one of the worst to criticize other women who do embrace their feminine side. When they embrace their feminine side, we look over there and we go, oh, look at her carrying those heels. Doesn't she think she's something? Or look at her breasts hanging out. Or we should look at them and go, hooray for them. Look at that. She is embracing her femininity. Isn't that wonderful? We should embrace that, because society wants us to downplay our feminine side. You should never, ever downplay your feminine side, because believe me, with the parts that God gave you, you can rule the world. And that is no lie. And any man that sits there and says that is not true is lying to you. Now, the last thing, the other side of the coin that I do want to touch on is that when you get to be too heavy, anything where you start becoming obese, or any time that you get to be too tiny, there are dangers. When you're at this end of the scale, you have problems with heart disease and diabetes and high cholesterol and all sorts of issues that come into play. But when you go to this side of the spectrum, there's been a lot of people, Karen Carpenter being one of them, who died from anorexia, because it gets to a point where your lungs cannot support you anymore, because you have now gotten too thin. So what you need, I don't care which side you're on. I don't care if you're too heavy or you're too thin. What you need to do is you need to figure out, are the thoughts that are going through my head about my body image correct? Am I really too heavy where I need to lose weight to be healthy? Am I too thin and at this point I need to gain weight to be healthy? Are you really too heavy? Are you really too thin? Or is it just the thoughts that have been placed into your head? So that's one of the things that you need to decide. If you decide that you are too heavy, then you need to do something to make yourself healthy. If you are too thin, you do need to do something to make yourself healthier. Because sexuality, femininity, has nothing to do with this. Has everything to do with this. It doesn't matter what they think you have. It has to do with what you think you have. When I was extremely heavy and I had dates all the time. Sometimes I had 2 dates, and I know I shouldn't even say that, but it's true. I would have girlfriends that were like, how do you rate? You're overweight. You're not that great looking, but yet, you got guys bringing you flowers to work, wanting to take you out again. And it's like, you ain't all that. You know what? I thought I was all that. I loved myself. I loved my femininity. I loved what God gave me. I could have came to this earth as a man, but I chose, because you choose what you want to be on this earth. I chose to come here as a woman. So why am I not going to experience what a woman has to experience? And there is no sin in embracing your feminine side. Having your toenails done, going to the spa, having your face clean, pampering yourself. A lot of the women that are sick that I know, I sit there and I go, when's the last time that you pampered yourself? When's the last time that you listened to that nice, quiet female rain, curled up in a chair and read a good book just for yourself, turned off the phone, didn't answer to anyone, not children, not husbands, not anyone? And they're like, oh, I can't remember the last time I did that. We need to start pampering ourselves as women. And everyone in my life knows I'm going to pamper myself first. A lot of people say, well, I love you. And I know that you don't love me as much as I love you. I'm like, you're damn right. I come first. I love me first. Because if I love me first, I can give you more love. And that helps me. The more serene I am, the less stressed that I am, the more that I can give, to everyone else. So, you know, that's something very, very, very important to remember. The last thing that I want to comment on before I end this video is that if you're just getting started in detoxing your body, I wouldn't really listen to your body, because you know, your body, there's little bugs and everything trying to convince you of things that you need to eat and everything. But people like Amy, who have been raw for a while, 6 months, 8 months, a year, listen to your body. I said it before, this is a magical machine. It knows what it needs. You know those pregnant women that you see them when they're pregnant and they start eating dirt, or they start eating baby powder, or they start craving these weird things? There's a reason for that. Their body, there's a certain mineral that is in dirt or baby powder or whatever that their bodies need. Their bodies will ask for that for a reason, because of those minerals. So now that I've been eating healthy for a year, I listen to my body. I listen. If my body says, give me something warm, I say, what warm do you want? If my body says, you know what, I don't really feel like eating right now, we need to fast for like 2-3 days, water fast, I sit there and I go, okay, well, we won't eat, we're just going to water fast. You know, right now my body has told me, hey, I need to juice fast. It was very easy for me to go into this juice fast. Why? Because my body was asking for it. A lot of people will push, you know, the envelope. That's what they want. And listen to your body. Your body will never, never guide you wrong. It knows what it needs. It knows the minerals that it wants. It will tell you, I need something sweet. I need a watermelon. I need pineapple. You know, I need something a little bit more tart. I need, you know, I need cucumbers. And if you sit there and listen to your body, I promise you that it will never, ever guide you the wrong way. That spirit is built inside of you. And a lot of people, you know, we have that, like, that sixth sense, you know, that knowing. And a lot of people dampen it. It's like, oh, no, that can't, you know, you're walking down a dark alley and it tells you, oh, it's not a good idea to walk down the dark alley. What do? Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to keep going, and then we get killed. When that little voice inside of you starts saying stuff, listen. It'll tell you, hey, I need more water. Hey, you know, you're a little dehydrated. I'm telling you, that voice will never let you down. Those little voices know what they are talking about. They were placed there to protect you for a reason. So I'm going to end this video. I don't want to rant on and on and on, because let me tell you, I can rant all day about female femininity and sexuality and you know, coming into your own and everything else, which I think is so important, especially for little girls. We don't teach that to little girls, and we need to teach that to little girls. No different than we need to teach little boys that it's okay to cry. You know, we live in a very stagnant society. It's like we want to muffle everything, and it's not good. You know, I mean, we want to muffle everything from the moment we're born. You know, don't do that, don't do that. So go within and listen to the voices and what it's telling you. You know, are the voices coming from somewhere else? Something that you were raised to believe? You know, are you truly in the need to gain weight? If you truly are, don't listen to somebody on YouTube telling you don't do this. This is the way to do it. No one is God and certified 100% in nutrition. They're not. Listen to your body. Your body is the best nutritionist out there on the planet.